We're back with another update on our home renovation. The progress in this video is mind-blowing, and we can't wait for you to see all the updates we've made. Starting out strong with another plumbing material trip, where Jake is deep in thought as usual. Here he's adding a new drain line for our new laundry room. I was called on to assist, and hopefully this seal is tight and doesn't leak, or that's on me. Also, I forgot to record his updated plumbing for this video. Sorry. Maybe next time I'll do a little recap. We got drywall, insulation, and all of our new doors delivered, and Luke came over while Jake was away to help move everything into the house. Unfortunately, I forgot to get a video of that process, but a big thank you to Luke for all of his heavy lifting. A lot has happened behind the scenes between what you're seeing now and our last video, specifically with new electrical being run throughout the first floor for more outlets, new lighting, and the new appliance locations. Anyway, back to the video. Jake was away for the weekend, and Mama Janet offered to come help for the day. I started off filling in the stud gaps with our new rock wool insulation. This stuff is fantastic to use because it can be easily cut to any size with a drywall knife and stuffed between the studs. I love that you don't have to staple it in like the traditional fiberglass insulation. We decided to replace the insulation in the kitchen and the fireplace room exterior walls while they were exposed so that we could use a higher R-value insulation for better energy efficiency. You'll see later where we're planning to use the old insulation instead of throwing it all out. Jake left me with clear instructions on which cavities I could fill with insulation and which needed to be clear until more electrical work was finished, so that's why I didn't finish the kitchen wall fully. I ended up moving over to the fireplace room and removing all of the fiberglass insulation. When Mama Janet arrived, I gave her a quick tutorial, and she hit the ground running while we tag teamed the insulation. Remember the old laundry room? That's where we're working in this clip, since this drywall will also be coming out. Here I noticed that the pin nails from the old wall paneling were still in the studs, so we had to hammer each one flush with the studs, since we didn't want them popping through our vapor barrier. And speaking of the vapor barrier, that was our next step. We cut down the 12-foot roll and started stapling it to the studs across the wall. This vapor barrier is a plastic sheet that will keep moisture away from our drywall. Then we used a moisture barrier tape to seal off the perimeter and all of the seams. If you ever attempt this, I recommend using Tyvek brand over a store brand because the Tyvek was far superior in sticking factor. Thank you to Mama Janet for all the help with this part of the project. It was something new for both of us, and I think we did great work. We also got some gardening in, which you'll see at the end of this video. Here Jake's back and we're using our 12-foot drywall pieces to start the drywalling on the first floor. Can I just tell you how heavy this 12-foot piece was? And Jake had to lift it and hold it up himself while I scrambled to quickly add a few screws to keep it in place. The pressure was real. Another busy weeknight where we decided to fill all of the kitchen holes around wiring with expanding foam to help keep critters from coming through. And now I'm back to filling in the rest of the insulation, and Jake moved on to the interior kitchen wall, building out this fridge sidewall with a 2x4 to meet our required measurement. See those open walls he's filling with drywall now? Remember that area was the old powder room, and he's currently standing over what used to be the toilet position? We added so much room to the kitchen with that update. Another night's work. Here we added the vapor barrier to our exterior kitchen wall, the same way we did in the fireplace room, and we cut out the holes for the window, plumbing, outlets, and under cabinet wires. Then we started drywalling. This was a little tricky because we had a lot of obstacles to cut out, But it was so exciting to see this wall transforming.
The next day, my dad and Luke came over, and we were putting the 12-footers up on the ceiling. Huge shout out for them, otherwise this day would have never happened. We got our first piece into place. That one went pretty quick. Well, a little slower here. We, just like Maria, the little tape measure work was wrong in the beginning, but we got it. Once we got into a rhythm, we took a break every now and again to, keep our muscles ready to go. On the second corridor here, we started with an 8-footer to offset our joints. That way you wouldn't see a big seam all the way across the ceiling. Yep. Then later that night, Maria and I went back to re-drywalling all the walls that still needed to be done. Here's that last piece in the kitchen exterior wall, and then the little trim piece right there to fill in that gap was the last two pieces there that we needed to do. Then here we moved on to the back side of the kitchen and the back side of the powder room. Luke stayed that night to help us get those two top pieces into place, and then Maria and I just knocked out the bottom ones real quick. From there, Maria and I moved over to the little supporting wall for our new beam that we installed, just capping that off with some drywall on the living room side. The next day I came back over and I started all the mudding process. We were on a tight schedule because our cabinets were delivering, and we had plans to install it this coming weekend.
Yeah, so here's a little sneak peek of the drywall and mudding that was finished at this point after the new cabinets were delivered. I added that old insulation to our powder room here for a little noise dampening. I still have to add to this open wall, but a little more electrical work was needed before I could hang the drywall and fill the insulation. The rest of our insulation we will most likely be using as a second layer of insulation in the attic over the fireplace room. So we ran into a little plumbing issue after running the guest bathroom tub to clean mudding tools. We found the drain pipe was leaking behind our new drywall. Luckily, Jake's a lot calmer than me and remembered exactly where the pipe was located and where his added joints were. But we're relieved we caught this before the cabinets were installed. After a week of mudding, sanding, and priming the walls, we were all ready for a Ballestino work weekend. A big thank you to my parents for coming down for 2 days of hard work.
We started with, we'll call it the complicated side, because he came ready to work, and let me tell you, those first two pieces, the fridge upper and that built-in pantry, took us about 5 hours to finally get those two into place. But once we got those in, it was off to the races.
Why did it take you so long to get them in place?
We were figuring it out as we went. Yep, but today we got the fridge upper, the pantry, we got the uppers on, we'll call it the breakfast bar, coffee bar side done, and then we got the lowers all installed and all the doors back on and shelves in on day one. We called it quits on day one early because we wanted to go for ice cream.
It was necessary after a long day's work.
Sacrifices were made.
Mm-hmm. While the guys were working in the kitchen, Mama B and I worked on adding vapor barrier to the other side of the fireplace wall and drywalling both of those small walls. We also did a good bit of gardening outside, which you'll see at the end of this video.
Alright, welcome to day 2 of kitchen renovations. This is where we tackled the exterior wall. This side was much simpler. We had a big 48-inch upper here on the first piece, and then we had the range and two 18-inch uppers on the other side. We knocked these out in about 3 hours, and then did real quick work on the lowers. We did run into a hiccup though. I did place the under cabinet lighting cables in the wrong spot, and Maria had a great idea to kind of channel them through the drywall to the location that we needed. So that saved a lot of rework. So great job, honey. Great idea.
Thank you.
There you can see the range cabinets going in, and then I'm fixing that under cabinet lighting, getting it rerouted to where it needs to be. Pop that in and then broke for lunch, I believe. After lunch we put the shelves in and doors for the uppers. Then here we went to work on the lowers. There you can see the sink cabinet getting ready to go. We measured and made perfect cuts on the first go around. We were really excited about that. Here you can see the rest of the cabinets just falling into place. And then we did run into a couple snags here when we got to the corner and the peninsula.
I see that corner cabinet going in and out a lot.
Like I said, a couple snags.
What happened there?
But once we got her in, we anchored her down, and then the peninsula went in right next to it.
Can you give us more detail?
Here's the final reveal.
This is our beautiful new kitchen. It feels so open and bright, and we're so happy with how it turned out. We still need to level out all of the door hinges, add hardware, trim, under cabinet lighting, etc. But this is a huge milestone transformation for this house. Big thanks to Papa B for his help in making this kitchen a reality. And I like to end these videos with yard work clips so you can see the progress we're making outside little by little too. Here's Jake's first grass cutting at this house on our new mower. Does anyone else think of Roadrunner when they watch this clip? We were laughing about how you know exactly where he is in the yard by the dust storm he's kicking up. And here's the garden clean out after pictures from my workday with Mama Janet. I wish I had taken before videos, but imagine these beds filled with so many leaves. We've been surprised this spring by what my mom called our secret garden. Now a little photo montage of some of the unexpected blooms that popped up this month. This last bit of footage is from the kitchen install weekend with my parents, where Mama B and I did some crazy leaf clean out in the front garden. I probably took 10 wheelbarrow loads of leaves out to the back, and she did even more by herself the next day. Enjoy our time lapse. At this point, Mama B was ready to tear out the dense ground cover plants that were half dead and choking out the flowers. I forget what they're called. But Jake gave her a little tutorial on the pole saw and she was living her best gardening life. Thank you, Mama B, for your hard work in transforming this garden.
Yep, just rest it there and then safety and pull the trigger. Now let it do out the mulch.
Look how lovely the front garden is looking now that the leaves are cleared and the bushes are trimmed down. So excited. And that takes us to the end of this long update video. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed seeing all the progress we've made so far. Stay tuned for more to come in our next video. See you then!